March 14, 2012, my son Thomas lost his battle with the disease of addiction. I now belong to a club that no parent should ever belong to. Do you know the signs? Do you know the trends that children are doing in today's world? Do you know the signs and symptoms? Do you know the signs and symptoms of drug abuse? I want to empower and educate Long Islanders by bringing a force of professionals and how to prevent the disease of addiction. Long Island in Crisis. Good evening and welcome to Long Island in Crisis. This show is dedicated to the empowerment and education of all people that are dealing with substance use disorder, whether it be in their family or if they are themselves suffering. However, that being said, all our communities, we have to really, come together and be educated about this insidious disease and how it's affecting our youth. And, we have to do better. We have to make changes. We need to go back to, and my parents are probably rolling over in their graves right now because they're saying, see, back in the old days or back in the good old days when communities really gathered around each other and we all watched out for each other's children. And we really need to come together and disconnect to reconnect and, just simplify things a little bit. We have a generation of anxiety-ridden children just because the world moves exponentially too fast for them, and they are children. I lost my son 4 years ago, so it's a passion that I have for the world, the future, for my grandchildren, for my great-grandchildren, for everyone. No one should walk the walk that I walk at this point in time. So my very special guests tonight are Janice Talento, and thank you, Janice, for coming back. And we also have Ted, I'm going to say
Heim, correct.
And you are the Lieutenant Governor
Of the Long Island South Central Division of Kiwanis.
Yes.
Of New York District Kiwanis.
And Diane Plowman.
Hi.
And you are really in charge. You are in a very sweet spot for me, the middle school kids. So you're in the Builders Club, as they call it.
Exactly, and it is a sweet spot. The children range, 12, 13, they're in 7th, 8th grade. So it's a pivotal time for kids.
And I will tell
they're just
you,
getting exposed.
Speaking to people in treatment, and I love to speak to young people in treatment, that is the time that is the age, overwhelmingly, if I've spoken to 5,000 people, that's the age, 12 years old. If they could go back in time and speak to themselves, 12 years old.
There you go.
So we need to even lower that to 10. I'd like to,
Absolutely. Well, I think one of the some of the things that we have done at Kiwanis have been directed to the younger children specifically.
Yes.
Janice was involved in putting together a poster campaign or
Contest.
Yes.
Thank you. And we picked about 20 or 30 posters, subsequently made them into poster boards and hung them up in all of the grade schools in Massapequa. They were all, they were rather primitive, but, say no to drugs was the basic theme. But the kids were excited about doing it, and
I judged it.
well, there you go. And they weren't primitive at all. They were terrific pieces of art, by the way.
They really were some of the,
The theme is perfect.
absolutely.
And I think that's what we felt, that we have seen personally with people that we knew that have gone through your horrible situation. And we realized that you have to start younger. You have to, and it has to be peer-driven, and it has to be young.
Yes.
And so we start there at the grade school level, and we've had a number of discussions with the high school kids and the middle school kids as well.
Unfortunately, by the time we get to high school, many of them are rather far, they're into it. And unfortunately, being a teenager, what's the first thing? No adult knows anything. What do you know? I'm going to be fine. I'm
Absolutely.
indestructible. So that's why I think it's, if we're going to make a change 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's going to be with the kindergartners of today.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And it's not so much to speak of substance use to them.
Right.
Coping skills, life skills. How do you resolve your conflicts so they don't have anxiety as they get older? They don't, everyone has that. When I was little, my parents used to call it butterflies in your stomach. We didn't
Right.
name it a
Right.
disease. We just named it butterflies
Butterflies,
in your
absolutely.
stomach, and
Right.
you kind of dealt with it. And I
These-
think we need that interaction between parent and child to say, "You're okay. It's okay." Take a step
And
back.
these kids are really facing a
breathe.
lot of the bullying.
Yes.
The big thing is bullying now too,
Right.
the children in the grade schools and so forth.
It's terrible.
And, yeah, it's terrible. We have a gentleman in Kiwanis who speaks to the groups, and he lost his daughter, suicide. She was bullied, and she jumped in front of a bus. And it's horrendous, just absolutely horrendous. So that's a big topic, I think, too, is with this whole setup here is bullying.
And I just heard a very disturbing fact too the other day, that children in grade school, that clinicians are seeing them for suicidal tendencies.
Wow.
That they're 8 years old and they are seriously wish they weren't alive.
Right. Yeah.
That's horrendous.
It is, absolutely.
That's
And it's all,
uncalled
with-
for.
Well, with cyber, the cell phones,
Yes.
and
You
they're
can't get
constantly
away
being
from your
bothered.
problems.
They
Like-
can't get away from it. They just
No,
cannot get away
they can't
from it.
turn life off.
You used to be able to go home,
Yeah.
not have
Yeah.
that.
Right.
At
Yeah,
least you
right.
had it at home, but now you go home and the first thing everybody does is turn their phone on, their iPad,
Absolutely,
their
they're on it all day long.
whatever.
Sure.
Exactly.
That's disconnect to
downtime.
reconnect.
Right.
Absolutely.
Just shut it down, be with your family.
Mhm.
And kids just need downtime, period.
Right.
It's okay to lay on the couch and watch cartoons and be mindless.
Right, right.
That's a good thing to
Really,
do.
absolutely.
It's good, I like to do it.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Even at
right?
my age.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
They need time to go out and just play.
Well, we
Just
keep
be.
our kids very busy these days,
Yes.
and they're in more than one sport typically at that age, okay, because they're not sure what they want to do, so they're playing basketball, they run from basketball to hockey to soccer, whatever, Girl Scouts, you name it. And sometimes you're right, the kids, as parents, we have to be reminded, hey, slow it down.
Exactly, exactly. Just because you want to do it, doesn't mean you're going to do it.
Right.
Exactly.
You have 2 activities
Mhm.
for the fall that
Right.
you can pick.
And,
Choose.
No, I agree, completely
Yeah.
agree with you.
So tell me more about what you're doing in your community, because I think this needs to really be replicated
Right.
throughout Long Island, and then New York State and the United States.
Well, we were very fortunate in, this started 7 years ago, believe it or not. I went to a wake, young man from the Kiwanis Club, his nephew overdosed, and we went to the wake, and I got chills just standing there in front of it. They had some young boy, 23 years old, here he is, just a waste. It was terrible. And I told the story to my brother Hank, and he lived down in Washington, and he says, I wanted to do something. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I'm an old guy, and I figured, well, let me see what I can do, And he put me in touch with this Community of Concern organization, which comes out of Georgetown Prep School.
Okay.
And this book here was put together by the Jesuit priests and parents, and of course, doctors, neurologists, and so forth. And she sent me the book, and I said, wow, this is really what we could really use. And at that time, I had a dream to put it into the school system. And of course, they said, we don't have a problem.
We
Okay?
don't have a problem.
No, and it's just a pathological resistance to admitting that there is a problem.
Yes.
And it still goes on today, even when you read all about this in the
Yes.
paper, you're still, we don't have a problem. Well,
Yes.
baloney, you don't have a problem. And so when I started, these books here, and originally cost me $2 a piece, and the club helped me raise some money. I raised $20,000 over a 3-year period, and I was able to, at the time,
Just hold it up.
There you go.
during that period of time, I was able to distribute some 10,000 copies of this book with the help of Janice. Janice is just starting up with Drug-Free Massapequa at the time.
Yes.
And then I went to Youth Counseling Services, yes, and also South Oaks Hospital, the Drug and Rehab and
So
Rehabilitation
all
Center.
around your neighborhood?
All around my
Really?
neighborhood. And we were able to get rid of 10,000 copies. And then I pooped out. I really, I kind of laid low for a while. I was tired of it. And then we had a new president in Kiwanis, and he asked me, Ted, could you start Community of Concern? I said, well, I don't know how much money I could raise, but I'll give it a shot. Which I did. I bought 2,000 copies of the book. I raised $6,000. And not long after that, one of our members' sister tried to commit suicide, and they caught her in time, fortunately. And she's rehabbing today down in Florida. I understand she's doing very well. And then one of our members got up and said, you know, that's a Kiwanis Club. Let's see if we can do something. Have a drug initiative, drug awareness initiative.
Yes.
And the first thing that they did, it was Janice and this fellow, Phil Tesori, I don't know if you were involved with that,
No, I
Diane.
don't think so.
And Bob Thompson went to see the superintendent of the schools in Massapequa, Lucille Iconis. And she saw the book and she said, I'm in. This is exactly what we needed. So now we have a place to put books and where we wanted to put them, in the school. That's where I
Yes.
originally wanted to go with these things.
Right.
And Lucille accepted it right away. Dr. Fasano, who was her assistant superintendent, and they accepted it right away. So now how do we do it? And this was in June, and so we had to go out and we bought 10,000 copies of that book. We got a lower price. We got paid $1.61 for that. And what she did for us in September, when the kids come back to school, especially in the lower grades,
Yes.
the parents meet the teachers.
Yes.
And she allowed us to put a table in front of the door, and as the people walked in, we gave them a book, okay? And that took care of all the grammar schools. And then went to the middle school. In those schools, they have what they call a sports night, where the
Yes.
student who's playing sports
Mandatory.
must come
Yeah.
to a meeting with their parent. I think it's a code of conduct night.
Mandatory.
And
Yeah.
then there, we did the same thing, giving out the book, but only there, Diane and Bob Thompson put on the full-blown program. She'll go over that with you in a minute. And so in the first, I guess the first 3 weeks of the month in September, we distributed 7,500 copies of that book.
Right.
Excellent.
So
To
that was
every
my-
single school. in
Yeah,
Massapequa.
every school in Massapequa got it. And what they've done now, they put that on a PDF, okay? And now the parents can go in and actually get that book over at the internet, which is
Oh,
great.
perfect.
Which is really great.
Yeah.
It gets
And the
blasted
school has-
3 times
Yeah.
a
Well,
Well,
year.
the school,
Oh, that's
Janice will tell
great.
you how, the school has been very, very cooperative.
Yeah.
Lucille Iconis and Dr. Fernandez, they have been fantastic
Yeah.
for us. So my dream come true, okay?
Yes.
And that's really what my original dream was, to get this into the schools, and it happened. And now, we really got a ball rolling now. Now it's really, and this whole program is starting to get legs, as Diane would say.
Yes.
And recently, I was asked to give a program at the district convention, upstate New York. And that's just for New York State. There's 28 divisions in the district. And unbeknown to me, the vice president of Kiwanis International was in the room when I was giving the program. And afterwards, he came up to me, shook my hand, he said, great job, he says, and I'll be in touch. The next day, he gives a keynote speech, and he says, I want Massapequa, when I'm president of International, at my convention in Las Vegas, I want Massapequa to put on the program. Now, that's international.
Wow.
Now, so you talk about legs.
Yes.
This has got big legs now. We're running.
If-
okay?
if
So Diane
it's
can
time.
tell you some of the
Yes.
things that we're really starting to do now, but that's
So
been my dream.
tell me about the book, though.
Well, the
Within
book is excellent. The book will give you a lot of it gives you a lot of different ways to start the conversation with your child. Okay, it tells you what the names of the drugs that are out there, what the street names are, what the symptoms are to look for each particular drug, and what have you. And then the back page, I think, is perhaps one of the most important pages. Okay, because there it's got a list of counseling centers and hospitals and web resources that you can go to, but it also lists one of our initiatives was a hotline, and this hotline runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, when you call it, you get a live counselor. I know there are some hotlines out there that close down at 5 o'clock. You
Yes.
get a voicemail to call 911 if it's an emergency. Not always the best route at that point. That you may want to go to at that point, okay? And also I'm losing my train of thought. So it's a live counselor. You call Oasis, sometimes it's 20 or 30 minutes. You wait on
Yeah.
hold, okay,
Yeah.
so that's the
We
thing.
have
there.
LICAD also, Long Island Council on Alcohol and Drug Dependency, has the 24-hour hotline too, which is also manned.
Well, there you go. And,
Yes,
that's exactly what you want to do. Now,
Yes.
we've been blessed
I
to
will
have...
tell you, from a parent's point of view, when you are in the midst of this insanity that's ensuing in your house.
And you
to
need a
call.
place.
You need some,
You
you
need a
want
place.
you need a
You need a voice to
person
take
You
you
need
down
an
off
ear,
the wall.
absolutely.
I definitely
person
agree.
Absolutely.
to ratchet you down.
Exactly. And this telephone number is for the children, it's for the families that need help, it's for the caregivers, it's for the child who feels bullied, whatever it is, okay?
Whatever the problem
If you're
is.
having
Mental
suicidal
issues.
issues, call it. We have been blessed, again, I can't say it enough, by the school district, okay, to have them let us come in. But they've taken this telephone number, they've tweeted it, texted it, and what else do they do with it? They emailed it to every single email, cell number, and whatever the tweet thing is, to every one of that's listed for each child in the school. And they do it 3 times a year, so it's
That's
out
great.
there as much as possible. We missed the boat this year, but next year we're probably going to have the telephone number on their school IDs, so they have it all the time with them.
Oh, that's great.
So
I
talk
think-
about bringing it right to the children, or the
Well,
young
I think we're
adults,
talking
they
about
need
getting
it.
a sticker right away. They have that lanyard where they have the
lanyard,
ID.
yeah. The
I'm
lanyard,
thinking about
right.
We're talking
lanyards
about
'cause
getting a
it's
sticker
easier.
and putting it on their
That's great.
lanyard right away as soon as
That's
we can.
awesome.
Can't reprint them, it's too expensive, but, yeah, they
Yeah,
said
but
the
you can-
lanyards,
yeah.
just
Oh,
change
we
the
got a lot of
lanyard
things
out.
going. I'll tell you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we
That's
get
terrific.
great, and we have, it's not just us, okay, there's about 5 or 7 other people in the club that get
Yeah.
involved at any one time. Certainly, we couldn't have handed out
No.
Yeah.
8,000 books with just the 3 of us.
Right.
But,
You know, what would really be great in conjunction with this is that Oasis has the Talk to Prevent kitchen toolkit.
Yes.
So if parents want to know more than that, they can go to Oasis, Office of Alcohol and Substance Abuse in New York State, and there is, you know, how to start that conversation, and where would you start it at the kitchen table.
That's
So
great.
Talk to
Right.
Prevent, yeah.
That's
Well, that's in
absolutely
here.
That's in that book.
That's in the book.
That's in there.
And
Oh,
what's
good.
nice about in the
Absolutely.
book here too
There's some great
is
suggestions in
the
there.
brain development, so parents know, you know, when you're talking to the kids, and just your concerns.
Yes.
How do I talk to my elementary school, my child in middle school? So
Right, and it breaks it
out
down
for
right
them.
through college, too.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you have
How
a
to start the
college
conversation.
kid, talk to them about it, how, you know, what they can expect on the campuses and what have you.
Right.
I just want to let you know, too, this book here is both in English and Spanish, and it's just being finished in Mandarin Chinese. They've just gotten finished with translating it into
Wow.
Mandarin Chinese. And that was, at our suggestion. Bob Thompson, Diane, and myself, we made the suggestion to Community of Concern, because there is such a tremendous Asian population right here in the city of New York. And we have 2 huge Kiwanis clubs with Asians, and it's, so that's what we're doing now with that as well.
That's great.
Yeah, so they really, they're very cooperative. They're very excited about it. They really are. Because, you
So
know,
when you presented in upstate New York, are there other Kiwanis throughout the state that want to create this book also?
yeah, absolutely. We got an interest just recently from Portchester, and I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to be traveling with the new governor when he travels throughout the state, which he's required to do. And if I have the time, I'm going to go with him. And when he meets with the divisions, I'm going to put on a presentation for all the divisions if I can, as much as I can do. I don't know how much.
As
I
much
can
as
do.
you can do,
We,
absolutely.
we did put on, how many presentations have?
About
'cause I-
8 so
Was it
far.
8? Okay.
Yeah.
Around Long Island,
Where we
yeah.
had-
Right, because I know you've done some,
Yeah.
Bob
Yeah.
has done some.
Yeah, we did Queens, we did Staten Island, Janice and I did Patchogue,
I did Brooklyn.
North Shore, we did,
Did we do Staten Island?
yeah.
Staten
Staten
Island?
Island was done
Yeah,
too,
we did
yes,
Brooklyn,
absolutely.
yeah.
What was that place upstate that we did at that hotel?
Oh, yeah, at the Villabroma. There, that was a good program. Diane and Bob, they traveled up to the Villabroma for the Lieutenant Governors for Key Club.
Okay.
They met there in February, and Diane and Bob went up
That's
there and
right.
put on the program for
Right.
the Lieutenant Governors in Key Club.
Right,
So that was.
And they
that
run
was-
all the high school kids.
And they get the high school
Right.
kids.
Right.
and the nice thing about the book that we tell the clubs is the inside you can change, but the cover, you can customize to your local area.
Oh,
You can change anything. can
Anything you
put-
want.
Like we have Massapequa, Kiwanis, or whatever club was doing it, and back here, your local resources would be your own.
oh, that's
So
great.
just this in the middle has to stay.
Right.
Okay.
The
So
program we
You
put-
can change your questions if you want.
Exactly. And the program we put together is fairly easy, so it can be,
Simple.
you know, just, here's the book, here,
Right.
go ahead, do it.
Read the
you know.
book.
Yeah,
But,
right,
you know, If you
exactly.
have questions, you can
Exactly.
reach out to us and
Absolutely,
email us and
absolutely.
what
Absolutely.
have you.
But
It's
Bob put
exciting.
together
It
a
really is.
PowerPoint
You
for
you
us
feel
to
like you
follow
really,
that any club can use too, the PowerPoint presentation
Right.
to a club. And then your last page on the PowerPoint, that club can then use for their schools.
Exactly.
yeah, good.
what's great is the Kiwanis is a very recognizable name. Really been around for so long.
Oh, yeah, it's 100 years.
Right,
Yeah,
in
it's 100
everyone's
years.
community.
Yep.
That you're not scary.
No.
Right.
That
Yeah,
you're
right.
not coming in
We're
and
not coming out of the
trying
woodwork.
to-
This is a club that's been around for a long time.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
parents are so resistant. You know, they always say, "Well, no, not my kid."
Not
Wow,
not my
God.
kid,
Not
not
my
my
kid.
We were
house, not my
handing,
backyard,
we were
not
handing
my
them out, we
school.
had that. We had that when we were handing them out. Ah, no, I don't need that. I
There
don't
were a
need
lot
that.
of people that said
Yeah,
no, but,
yeah.
you know, we're putting together a webinar or a video or what have you. And part of the reason we're doing that is because we have attempted to have meetings at the school and what have you and have people come in. Last time we had 160 people come. I'm going to tell you, probably 90 of them were Kiwanis people, okay?
Yes.
People don't want to, parents don't want to come because they don't want their neighbors to see them there. Maybe they have a problem. It's the perception is such that there's
Yes.
such a stigma to it. So we felt that if we put together a webinar, then people could actually watch it in the privacy of their own home. There can be, you know, telephone numbers that you can call for help
Absolutely.
or whatever. But we thought that we might have, so that's pretty much what we're working on right now. That's going to take a little bit of time.
And what's going to
but,
be neat
you know.
about that, when it's all finished, at the end of it, it'll be the Massapequa Kiwanis Club. But now, if we go to Portchester, and they like that, we can then change the bottom to their club.
Right.
So it'll be all the same information, but now it's from Portchester.
Right.
Or now it's from, you know, any other city in the state of New York.
It's an
It could be-
easily
could be-
transferred program.
Could be put it into Minnesota. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
the gentleman that is going to let me do it in Las Vegas, he comes from Minnesota, and
Right.
they can use it there.
Absolutely.
Massapequa started the initiative and planted the seed, but that seed can grow
Oh,
anywhere
the seed is growing.
Yeah.
throughout international.
I think Diane said it well.
got legs.
It has legs. It sure has legs.
It's got legs.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
does.
and that's the other, I think, the initiative that everyone needs to have is the shame and stigma
Absolutely.
of the disease.
Absolutely. And it is
So-
a disease, absolutely.
Absolutely.
We're going to commercial?
Yes. So we'll be right back after this commercial. Thank you, Janice.
This is Beth.
Hi.
Oh, congratulations. When are you due?
I'm not pregnant.
Oh, look at that. Excuse me.
You're totally thin.
You look very sexy.
For life's bleachable moments, all it takes is 3/4 of a cup.
Guys, ready for the show? Yeah. Enjoy.
You smell so good, I won't have to bathe the next 2 weeks. Anything. So, here, laugh a little harder. All right,
I will take him. I would be proud to show you off, you little old weirdo man.
Get a new sweater. The worst dressed man here tonight. Right? Look, get that laugh, and get it in there tonight because nobody else is going to laugh like her. She's under drugs, all right?
We are the Stylistics Review, and you're watching MadhouseTV.com.
Welcome back to Long Island in Crisis. So we were just leaving off, and the shame and stigma of this disease. It's the only disease, you know, if your child had diabetes or if your child had, the Kiwanis Club would be doing a spaghetti dinner for kids stricken with cancer in a family.
Absolutely.
But for some reason, this disease looks to isolate the family. You're ashamed, like you did something wrong. No one did anything wrong. It's been long proven now. It is a disease of the mind. And unfortunately, like my son, I know whether it was his first cigarette, his first beer, or his first joint, flipped that switch on in his brain. And then we were off to the races.
Right.
The disease is like wildfire in these adolescents. So we need to interfere with that as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
So for parents, and I've had many a parent say, oh, well, I'm not worried about that heroin stuff. My kid's only drinking and smoking pot. Your kid's 12. Probably not a good idea, or 15. I don't think that's a good idea. And to
Right.
be that naive, and that's the word that I like.
Oh, absolutely.
Naive to, maybe, 40 years ago when you were a kid and nothing happened to
Even
you,
longer ago than that.
not all of your friends came through unscathed
Absolutely.
with the disease.
Absolutely.
The drugs are not what the drugs were when
Absolutely.
parents were dealing with them either. So we need to recognize all of that that's going on in the world.
What do they say about the heroin now? I mean, it's synthetic and all the chemicals that they put in it. 1 in 3 people who try it become immediately addicted.
Yep.
That's not the same drug that was around.
Now there's a new one that's
40
out
years
now
ago
that
or
they say
whatever.
that there's 100 or 1,000 times
Yeah.
more
Well,
strong.
fentanyl, that's.
There's more, not fentanyl, it's something else. Something had to do
Oh,
with elephant stuff, something with about
yes.
elephant. I
Yep.
forget what the name of it was. I saw it on TV. I said, holy smokes. And that's how powerful it
It's
is, and it's
horrible.
killing
It's,
kids.
well, you know what though? There's not everyone's, it's so naive when people say, well, that must have been a bad batch of heroin.
Yeah.
There's no good batch of heroin.
Yeah, right.
When
That's
when
very
we get
true.
to
That's
this,
very
there's no
true.
good batch
Absolutely.
of heroin.
No.
Newsday got beat up on that.
We also have synthetic marijuana
Yeah.
that I can introduce you, unfortunately, to parents whose kids are catatonic and will never come back
Wow.
from that state now. They're in nursing homes, they're in vegetative states, they have schizophrenia. This is what they're trying to smoke. And it could be that one time that their brain is fried.
Yeah.
So how can we not? My youngest is now 22, but oh my gosh, to deal with what you have to deal with now, you have to be your kid's best advocate and your kid's worst nightmare, not their friend.
Right.
Right.
No, you can't be.
You really need to be in sync with them when it comes to this. So
Completely agree.
yes, so you were
Well, yeah.
role modeling.
Yeah, to wipe away the stigmatism, which
Yes.
is one of the things we're all fighting for all the time, because like you said, if someone had cancer, you'd be their best friend holding their hand. Well, you know what, if you have a drug addict that needs treatment, you gotta hold their hand. What we're putting together is a role model product. It's not an individual, it's gonna be by team or by club, because again, united front,
Yes.
and with different slogans. Bob is great, he's got some slogans that he's making up for each different poster. One will be not our field, not our club, not our rink, and put them out throughout the schools. And
Nice.
we've even been able to put some stuff up in our stores too. So again, our whole community
Yes.
is behind this now. Kiwanis started it, and the whole community is now on board and realizing that we do have a problem. And it's not only just our community, it's surrounding towns.
Yes.
So the more we can stand up and make a difference and raise awareness to the whole
Yes.
area, it will be great.
Absolutely.
I don't
And
know.
athletes need to know, so Kim Labby, who we mentioned before, for every one night of drinking or, negates 2 weeks of peak performance training for an athlete.
Is that right?
Right?
Yeah.
There you go.
So if kids knew that,
Mhm.
and you're working your tail off to be the best football player, the best wrestler, the best lacrosse player.
Well, this
And
gets
then-
back to the education we have to start in the
Yes.
lower grades, and these,
Right.
it's got to be, that's the approach that you have to take to these kids. What does it do to you,
Yeah.
And, that's what they have to hear. And look what they did with MAD and Mothers Against Drug Driving, smoking. I mean, you
Yes.
have if you
Oh, I
have
know.
Well,
a.
it took 20 years to
But
really.
it works,
Yeah.
it
But
works,
it worked.
absolutely, and
And
this is
it
gonna
might
work.
it might take
It's
this
gonna
long
take that long.
Absolutely.
as well.
But you gotta
um,
start somewhere, and that's
Gotta
where you have to
start
start.
somewhere.
Kids
Absolutely.
today, they don't drink and drive for the most part. They're all Uber
Right.
and cabs.
Oh,
and what have
absolutely.
you, designated drivers. Okay, it's,
And
you know.
smoking,
Right.
if you smoke, man, your little daughter or son come in and, Mommy, you can't do that, you know?
Right.
And they really all over you, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They do
so
a
I
great-
think that that's the message that we're trying to
That's really
put
what
out
we're
there,
trying to
you know.
put
I
out
mean,
there.
you're never going to cure drug abuse or drug use at all, but if we can make sure that everybody is aware
Yes.
of what to do, or that there's help, or that it is a
I
disease.
I think that we can certainly bring it back from where it is. You're never going to eradicate the
No,
disease.
no.
Because there are kids, I know from my son, so we lost all 3 grandparents, my ex-husband and I got divorced, there was a lot of trauma there. And Thomas was a sensitive kid, didn't, you know, 15-year-old boy not wanting to speak about things. There's going to be trauma in family. There's going to be, you know, we need to empower them to speak about those things. But there's also just going to be that group of kids that are risk takers.
Always.
Always.
They're always there.
You're always going to
Absolutely.
have those, and
Absolutely.
unfortunately, some of them will be stricken with the disease.
Absolutely.
Something will light up. Because the longer that we can keep them away from a drink or a drug, the magic age is 25, chances of them ever coming down with the disease become almost 0. So that's an important fact for them to know.
Right. But Phil, if you want to talk about what Phil had started, because Phil was one of the initiative people here, but Phil went to our county and started a sign program with the
Okay.
county that Massapequa
with
is
Crime
the
Stoppers,
test.
With Crime Stoppers,
With Crime
right.
Stoppers, we are the test town. They put up 50 signs throughout our community, metal signs. And then I think you
What
guys,
does
you
the
and
sign
Bob worked on the
say?
posters. It says, if you see something, say something, Crime Stoppers, download the app. I don't have my
I don't
phone with
have
me.
a
I went to go look for my phone.
But you download the app right onto your phone, you can hit
Crime
the button to
Stoppers,
call
right.
it, you can text it, it's anonymous.
Wow.
So we have 50 of them up in our metal signs, and then Bob and Diane worked on a poster that went up in all our stores. We put up 500 throughout our community and stores that gives a number to call. If you see something, say something, because I said not all, like, my mother's not about to download an app on her phone, but if
No,
you see
right,
something,
exactly.
she can call.
Right.
So we wanted to put that up. We said, okay, the town's doing this, and we're only the test for Nassau County. We're
Okay.
hoping, again, this goes county-wide.
Exactly.
You know.
The message is Massapequa doesn't want it anymore, you
Right.
know, that kind of thing.
We're a drug-free
And hopefully
community.
we'll be
We're a
the-
drug-free
right,
community.
We're a drug-free community.
Yeah.
And we have, how many people, I know you were out delivering those
Yes.
signs. Everybody went out
My whole
delivering the
junior
signs.
league did it
Right.
all over our community.
Well, you had the
Absolutely.
kids do it, too.
Yeah,
Didn't you have
my
the kids
junior
come do
league,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, they all did it we put up 500. I think I have like 10 in my back of my
I have
car.
2 in my car.
Yeah, and that's it out of 500.
Before we leave, I
Janice
can-
is right, it's become a big community effort now. I mean, there's not a street fair or run or whatever that Kiwanis doesn't have a table at that's giving out the books or what have you. And I know we've done that a half a dozen times. I think we're going to Long Beach next week, correct?
Yes.
But,
Is that right?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
And then Belmont Street Park.
yeah, there you go, there you go. So
what I say,
everybody's involved and everybody wants to be on board now, which is really good.
Well, it was interesting. I saw a movie on Sunday, Generation Found, which is the new movie by Greg Williams. And it really concentrated on a recovery high school in Texas. And Texas is really leading the country with the amount of recovery high schools that they have. Unfortunately, I think that every high school should be a recovery high school and should be free from drinking
Drinking and drugs, absolutely.
It should be, and that's the standard that we should be holding our educators to, our parents, and our kids to. They, you know,
Right.
when kids unfortunately may, you know, be stricken with the disease and they want to come back to their high school, those services should be right there for them. You know, a meeting at school or other like-minded kids should be there with them. It shouldn't be that they're ostracized or that they can't come back to their community, because that's also just dealing with the stigma and the shame of the disease.
Right.
And you're punishing them from not being allowed to be around. Of course, you know, they'd have to change their friends if their friends continue bad behavior, but We need to embrace a
I think
new,
that's the biggest thing is that when they come back, they generally just go right back to their friends and they jump right back into the drug habit again. And it's
Correct.
not a good thing. That's why half of them going down to Florida now. I think every
They're
time
going
you hear
down to
somebody.
Florida, and they're
Florida's a
also
big area.
opening more and more sober homes here, so when you do come back, you don't have to go back to your home in your community.
Oh, is that right?
You can
Right.
go to a sober home,
I didn't know
which
that.
teaches you life skills, work habits, and you do have somebody that you're checking in with. You can't stay out till all hours of the night. So it is a middle step, but we don't have enough.
I was going to say, how many do we have?
We don't have enough. Well, we don't have enough adolescent programs either, so.
Right.
No, I agree with
And
that.
outreach is really one here on Long Island in Brentwood, and that's for 12 to 19-year-olds.
Right.
When I say that age, 12,
That's
there's
horrible. I know.
12-year-olds in treatment for up to a year.
Well, that's another whole issue with the insurance too. That's another
But
problem.
it's a great
course.
program, because it's one that teaches them respect, and you have to earn what you have in life, which is nice. I went and took a tour there, and there was this girl, she was 13, she had been there for 9 months, and in her room, she had 2 pictures, a brush, and about 4 outfits of clothes. She goes, "You have to earn everything," and I lost everything about 3 months ago. And was
Wow.
just earning it back again. She had to earn a picture of her family to be on her dresser. You have to earn a second outfit of clothes.
Well, there's what they are being taught is there's consequences for your choices.
Right.
And kids don't have many consequences
Exactly.
in today's world. So tell me about the program that you teach to your middle schoolers.
Well, okay, that's interesting. It doesn't really, we don't really touch on the drug issue at
Okay,
all.
that's fine.
We, it's more a way of teaching them, it's the beginnings of how to give back to your community.
Okay.
They do a number of things in the school. They become attendance runners, or they hand out the back-to-school night pamphlets and maps for the parents that go there. That's in the beginning. Then they start with what is it? UNICEF. I'm sorry, the
UNICEF.
UNICEF program, and then we ramp it up a little bit. You're right. We start collecting coats with the warm heart, warm coat routine with Burlington. I think does it, in WABC or something. But we collect hundreds of coats in the winter, and they box those all up, and we send those over to Burlington. And they do a number of things at the old age home.
Nursing home.
Thank you for that. Nursing home. That was incredibly politically incorrect.
That's what I'm here.
All right,
why I'm here.
well, you know, what can I tell you, okay? He's watching me, I'm sure. But they're very involved in that. And then in the meantime, in their downtime, when they're not off at one of their visits or what have you, we put together no-sew blankets. And then at the end of the year, we get together, the kids get together, and we decide exactly where they think that they want to donate the blankets to. The last 2 years we've donated, or I should say 2 years ago, we donated them to the Roosevelt family shelter. The last
Okay.
2 years we've sent them there. So, and they make 50 blankets a year or what have you. So it's just, they feel very, sometimes the best ideas come from them. Kiwanis sends us on a monthly or quarterly basis ideas of, you know, how to get your club going. They're long past them. They're
Right.
well
That's
done.
great.
Every year
Well,
they
you're
get their
teaching them life
packs.
skills.
You're teaching
And
them
Well, you
life
hope
skills.
so.
You're teaching them life skills and how to deal with their community and needs
And
of
we
their
have-
community.
We've
we
been
have
very
this-
lucky. We had great faculty advisor at Berner. That was Sarah Lynn Musinski. She just retired, but we have a new one, Noreen Miller. Okay, so we're very excited to get to work this year too. So
That's great, but you can see the pride that they take
absolutely.
in giving back to they are proud
Well,
of
we
themselves.
put up the
Absolutely.
flags too with.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're
yeah,
absolutely
they're out
right.
there. We put up over 1,000 flags on the high school, middle school, grammar school, and BOCES school.
Right.
On the front ones, lined them up
The month of
beautifully.
November,
For the
right,
month
for
of
veterans,
November, and the
right.
kids love to get involved with that.
Yeah.
Help us put those flags up. It's really, it's great.
It's good for them to
Oh,
learn
yeah,
about their
absolutely.
country and what the flag should
Absolutely,
mean.
Exactly.
Instead of watching the NFL.
Well, take an
and
knee.
yeah,
That's
take a knee.
ridiculous.
Right.
That's
enough to make us
So,
sick.
But
yeah.
Make you enough not to watch football.
yeah, and then they have pizza parties and bowling parties, and we try and make it fun at the same time. They
That's
do. They have a
great. So
blast.
it's-
But again, healthy choices.
Healthy choices.
Pizza.
That's a very healthy choice.
No. It's not a street corner, it's not a.
Oh, you're right. That's right.
It's a
Right.
pizza party at the school or someone's home, it's bowling at a.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what I meant by healthy choices,
There
not
you go.
food-wise,
There
not
you go.
carrots, but.
And so they're from each school, that the kids know each other, or are they making?
It's only, the Builders Club is only at Berner Middle School right now because that's the age that is permitted for builders, okay? So in Massapequa, we just have, it's Alfred J. Miller, Berner Middle School.
Right.
And, let's see, in the high school, we have the Key Club.
The Key Club.
Okay, so that's obviously a
And
lot.
we support 3 key clubs, Massapequa, Seaford, and Plainedge.
Right.
So
Okay.
they're all involved.
Right. And usually the Builders Club, they have a president and a vice president, they vote on it, and those kids usually move right up to the Key Club. So,
Okay.
so it's great. They've already learned the basics, and now they go on to bigger projects, really, in the
So
community.
how many members are in the Builders Club?
One year we had 7, which was
Okay.
hard, okay? That was a little hard, but that was only one. How many years have we been doing it now?
Oh, quite a
7?
few. Yeah, at least 7,
So
sure.
I think since 2009. I don't know
Right.
what my math's like. but
That's right,
okay,
that comes
so
out
7,
right.
there you go.
That
comes out right.
All right. So, anyway, but we did it for 7 years, and I think that was the smallest one we've had. Usually, it's somewhere between 25 and 30, and it's
That's-
boys and girls. And I absolutely love watching all the girls do the no-sew blankets, and the boys are down there doing the same thing right with them. You know, so
Right.
they have lots of fun doing it. They really do.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
And when they come up from elementary school, because we do things in the elementary school too, which is cool.
Well, we haven't started that. I think that's one of the things that my wife, when she retires, try to start a K-Kids club.
Okay,
And that's
K-Kids.
usually second,
Because
third,
that might
and
help
fourth.
build up the Builders
Yeah,
Club.
second,
Yes.
third, and fourth group. That's the K-Kids. They're cute, I'm telling
Oh,
you.
they're sweet.
They come, we have 2 meetings a year in a division, where we call it the Kiwanis family, where K-Kids, Builders Clubs, Key Club, and Circle K are all there. And the fun part is watching these little ones. I mean, 4th and 5th grade, get up in front of now 75, 80, 90 people
not
in the
easy,
Kiwanis,
right?
and they'll speak so well, it's unbelievable, telling all the things that they did in their club. And it's really adorable. It really is cute. It's a painful night because it's very long.
It's
but-
very-
but it's-
Yes.
and at the end of the night, you look back and say, wow,
By
these
mistake, I
kids are
went to
great.
one of those.
These kids are great. So they're doing
But
wonderful.
how empowering to give that kid that confidence
Mhm.
to speak in front of all of those people.
Oh, absolutely.
And to be proud.
Absolutely.
And yes, they do like to talk once they start.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure. No,
Yes.
they're good. They really are good, and they're really cute. The little ones are adorable. They really
Yes.
are. Yeah, we
That's
enjoy
great.
that.
And
That's a
how about the high school?
Well, I don't get involved in the high school as much, but again, their projects are a little bit more robust. I know they run a senior prom, and the senior prom is just that, for the senior citizens of the
Oh,
town, yeah.
okay.
And they put,
Oh,
they.
senior prom. Oh, that's
Exactly, yeah, so
great.
they organize that whole thing, they do the food, they serve the food, they plan out the budget, I think,
Yeah, yeah,
for it.
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's a fairly significant evening, and it's an awful lot of work. And they start that early on the year before, you know, they get going. I'm not so sure. I know they get, I don't know any of the other projects
I'm
that
just
they're
trying to
working
think
on.
what
I
they
know
do,
they help
yeah.
with the ringing of the bell at the mall. There's
Yes.
always
Oh,
at least
that's-
Oh, right.
four or
Christmas
5
time,
of the
right,
key.
right. We
Oh,
do
members are
Salvation
down
Army.
there,
We work with the Salvation Army with
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
And they do get more involved with Kiwanis, with the adults too, because a lot of them have more accessibility to either drive themselves or have accessibility to ride, so that they can get places. Whereas the Builders Club, you have to keep it pretty much at school,
Yeah.
you know?
And now we're going to get involved with the autism walk, and they'll be very involved with that.
Yes.
Right.
That's on Jones Beach.
That's
And
great.
they get down there, we have water.
Water,
and
they're
they
handing
hand
out
out the
water
water to
and
the
what
walkers
have
and
you.
so
And will
forth.
they be with us on the 25th for our recovery walk? Are they
We-
coming?
I don't know, did we
Did you
put
bring
that
it up?
out?
Because I know that
I brought
Phil
it up
had
and asked for people, and I
Okay,
know
good.
Phil is asking them. I
Did
don't
you
know how
see the
many.
email that they were looking for jobs? The
Yes.
Key Club was looking
Yes,
for
and I
jobs?
said
Okay,
that to
good.
him.
Good.
Yeah, because they have a new president there that seems very organized, which
Probably
is
shouldn't be
great.
doing business right now.
Yes.
right? Yeah.
But, yeah, so we do have them there. My junior league will be there, and then Kiwanis has a table.
Great. So we'll be
MTA
handing
is-
out these books?
Yes, we
Yes.
will.
Okay, that's great.
MTA, which is Massapequa Takes Action, which is part of who we're working with too in Massapequa, is also going to have a table.
Is Yes going to be in there?
Yes, was asked to have a table. We're still live.
Yes.
Yes was asked to have a table. They're going to get back to me. They haven't answered, but
All right,
we have, I think, about 10 or 12 counseling centers.
That's
Oh,
great.
that's good.
So
We'll be right back after this message, and then we're going to talk about the walk that's coming up.
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Horsehair and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly using Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
Galaxy Luxury Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family-owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin.
Welcome back to Long Island in Crisis. So we want to really make a push on Sunday, September 25th at Belmont Lake State Park in Babylon at 4 p.m. There'll be no cost to get into the park at that point. We're doing our second annual recovery walk. So anyone struggling, anyone who wants to get involved, anyone that has lost a loved one, please come out, show your support. Last year we expected about 350 people, and we had about 1,500.
Wow.
So unfortunately, there's a great need for people to come together, and unless you've walked the walk, you really do find a lot of comfort, whether you've lost someone or whether you're dealing with the disease in your household, to speak to other people that are dealing with it also. We're gonna have food, T-shirts,
bags.
Bags.
We have
and
kids bring your families with you. We
Yes.
have Macaroni Kid there to do sand art and
Face
and
painting.
and we have a DJ
And face painting is not for kids only.
right. No, adults have gotten
Yes.
face painting too.
Yes.
And the DJ, it's just a fun afternoon to celebrate your days, minutes, hours, years of recovery.
Yes.
All together and get support where you need it.
Yes.
It's a wonderful
And there
event.
should be about 40 counseling centers there. You guys will be there handing out the books, so
Yep.
it's all about educating and empowering our communities, so we know better, we can do better, and make a difference with this next generation coming up.
We sure hope so.
We continue to lose, really at least one every day.
That's
That goes
unbelievable.
without saying.
Wow.
It's actually 1.5, but I don't know how
That's
that's
New York
measured.
State.
So that's in Suffolk County.
Suffolk County, 1.5,
Yeah,
wow.
that's in Suffolk
Is that the
County.
one
it
you
was
know
Long
about?
Island,
It's
okay.
the
That's,
one-
yeah, those are the ones
Those
you
are
know
the
about.
ones that are
That
admit
admitted
to
to.
it.
Right.
Because I was at a meeting last night and I was speaking to a friend of mine that I went to high school with, and he lost his wife, who had a car accident, and they prescribed her 90 Percocet right off the bat, and she died of an overdose as a woman in her 50s, I don't know how it was reported on her death certificate, but we always talk about the young people. The really biggest population is the 45 to 55-year-old that are dying quietly in their sleep from overdose, and that's never attributed to overdose.
Wow.
So we don't even know really the full impact that's hitting this country.
I could get as much Percocet as I want. I have a terrible back condition, okay, bad legs and back, and they offer me Percocet all the time. I could get as much as I want, as strong as I want. I just absolutely just turned it down, but I'll stay with Advil.
Yeah, I think that Advil works better.
But
Right.
To begin with.
Yeah.
But we have our youth also, so we talk about our young athletes
Mhm.
that are
That's why-
really
that's why I pointed out.
Exactly.
over exercising, over playing, they get injured.
They get
And
injured.
so, you're right, it may not be your kid, it may not be your household, but once that door opens
Right.
to that prescription coming into the house, we're off to a whole nother ballgame.
Absolutely.
So you need to know, as a parent, God knows when they're babies, right? What are you giving them?
Right.
Oh, do they
Right.
absolutely need this? Or, you'll
Right.
ask 1,000 questions.
Right.
You don't
But
ask anymore,
but
yeah.
you don't ask anymore.
No.
They hurt their leg, and no one should be in pain. But there are so many other drugs that could be used.
Right.
And be aware
Mhm.
of how much time they're giving it to them for. Nobody needs to be on any kind of oxys or opiates for more than 7 days. So I'm proud to say in New York State, Governor Cuomo signed into law that no prescription can be for longer than 7 days after January 1st.
Right.
God for that.
Yeah.
Right.
This coming January, is that
Yes.
right?
And doctors have been educated on this over and over again.
Well, no, they're just going to be,
No,
have
not
to
on
take.
this, not the 7 days. I'm saying about over-prescribing.
Yes.
And taking the initiative to see the patient again rather than just calling in prescriptions.
I would
Correct.
think that the doctors, it's got to be a hot topic or a hot issue now. I mean,
Absolutely.
Michael Jackson and
You would think
What
that it
have
would
you
be, but if I went to the dentist and took my son to the dentist, they would still write a prescription for 90 Percocet for a
Oh,
root
easy.
canal.
Oh,
well,
I
that
can get
that just
So
blows
it-
my
it-
mind when
you know,
everything
you
that's
know,
going on now.
Just
Right.
in case you need them.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
That's
in case you need
exactly
them.
what they say.
And they sold on the street, or you open the door
Right.
Tell the kids
at
coming in.
at grandparents' house.
Yeah.
Our
Oh, yeah.
young teenagers are going there
Sure.
to drug seek.
One of
You
the
know?
things that's discussed in the book is the stuff that's in your
Medicine cabinet.
medicine cabinet and underneath your kitchen sink.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be the drugs
Right.
that we're
Right.
talking
Right.
about, okay?
So,
Bath
this book
salts,
has
they
been
were sniffing
updated
bath
also.
salts.
Right.
If it's reprint, there's going to be a page in there on opiates and heroin. It's not in here.
Right.
Okay, so this book has been updated since we printed it.
Okay.
So that's,
Well, I think it's a great first start,
It's a
and
really
you-
good
you
first
just
start.
really open people's minds. If people, Ebola killed one person who wasn't even an American, and how much money went to that? $1 billion? And now we have the Zika virus demanding, all this extra money to combat it. But we have 72 people an hour in a 24-hour period die in the United States
Right.
well, with opiates.
with overdose, with any kind of
With
drug
anything,
overdose.
yeah.
Could be alcohol too.
Right, yeah.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah,
Where's the outcry? It took this president now almost 8 years to even mention
don't go
the
there.
word. You know, so
Right.
where's our outcry? Where's the public's outcry? And now you're seeing families coming forward and speaking about it and saying, you know what? I know for me, not one more family should walk in my shoes. There's no reason for it. Not one more. So that's where I love what you're doing. We need to replicate this. Certainly, Suffolk County, Nassau County should be
They're
the
easy sells. We've been
example.
Well, that's
seeing
another
them,
thing,
yeah.
Suffolk
Yeah.
County Police, I got a call from
Yes.
them, and we got the book out there, Bob sent it out there, I
Right.
believe, well, she came in.
Oh,
To the-
yeah.
what, to
Yeah.
the police
Well,
department?
The police
Commissioner
department, Suffolk
Sini
County,
is doing
Southampton.
Commissioner Sini's doing
Southampton,
great.
He's doing
Southampton
an
Police Department.
unbelievable job now.
Mhm.
Unbelievable
And we do
job.
have the joint task force between Nassau and Suffolk,
It's-
so.
Yes.
It's getting there.
It's getting there.
It's got legs.
It's got
It's
legs.
got legs.
It's got legs.
She loves that.
The thing that one parent said when we were handing out it back to school, because one mother said, oh, don't worry, I don't need this, my child's on it. And the mother goes, read it before you do need it.
Exactly.
And you know
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
That's the message we need to get to parents. Read
Read
this
this.
and know about it beforehand.
You know,
Absolutely.
Start the conversation.
If you can have a conversation about why you shouldn't vaccinate your kid, then you should have a conversation about, you know, first off, it may not be your child, but your child may be in a position that they need to know how to get out
Out of it.
Of.
Out of it.
It's in there.
It's
Yep.
in there.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right. Because I tell parents all the time,
Mhm.
when your teenager or young person leaves your house, do you give them a way out? If you get uncomfortable in a situation, here's the code for tonight.
Right.
Change the code all the time. Parents don't mind being the bad guy.
No.
I have to come pick you up, we have an emergency at home, whatever the case may be.
Right.
But give them the opportunity
To get
to
out.
have
To get
that
themselves out.
discussion with you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Don't assume that anybody's going to make the best choice.
Right.
You know, peer pressure
Ah.
on our young adults is brutal.
Yeah, that sure
So
is.
don't put them in those kind of situations.
Yeah, absolutely.
So any closing words that you'd like to add about what else you'd like to see get done? We have so much work to do,
We do,
but
and it's.
we're going to celebrate that this is being done.
We're
Certainly in
celebrating, we're
Massapequa.
celebrating the strides that Massapequa has made,
Yes.
how the Kiwanis Club has initiated all those strides and put the legs out there. And there's still many more things to come. I mean,
Absolutely.
this is the initial 8. And that list grows every day, every time we meet. It's like, oh, well, we should do this. Okay, add that to the list, add that to the list. Working with more and more centers and just getting your community to be a community and stand together. And don't point fingers and don't judge.
No judge, you
No.
know.
You know, you don't ever know what another person's
Person is
shoes,
walking.
right?
Absolutely.
And you know what? Some people smile through it and you think, hey, they're doing great. And that's the person that needs the help. And the person with the head down is having a great day, but that's just their personalities.
Correct.
So don't judge from an
You know,
outside perspective.
We can
and-
always go back to the golden rule.
There you go.
Treat other people as you would like to be treated, and if
Absolutely.
everyone just remembered that,
Yep.
we really
That
would make a lot
that'd
more
make
strides.
a lot more sense. That's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
So,
being in this field, you find a lot of people, you get humbled by some people.
yes,
Because, you know, what they've been through and what they're doing for others still. And then you have people who have not been ever affected that just want to make a difference for their community. And that's a lot of the Kiwanis Club that stepped up have not personally been affected. Our club has, but a lot of us haven't been personally affected. But we
well, I
don't,
like your tagline. Today,
today.
my
That's always
family is
mine.
okay.
That's
Today,
always-
my
that's
family
been
is
my-
okay.
Right.
You
And
don't
I
know who
think
they meet
that's
tomorrow.
I think that's for everyone.
Yep.
You don't know what tomorrow brings.
No, absolutely.
Never say never. You know, and you as parents or as family members, you always hope for the best,
Yeah.
but you don't know what life.
Up to
Prepare for
now,
the
we've been
worst,
pretty
hope
good
for the
with our
best,
family.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Up to now, we've
absolutely.
been pretty lucky, I'll tell you that.
You know,
Yeah.
parents go,
Oh,
okay, I got
absolutely.
him through high school, we're good. Well, no, he goes off to
No.
college or she goes off to college
No.
and meets all new people.
Yeah.
And now they have the freedom because they don't have to report home at 2 in the morning. You know,
Absolutely.
you don't know.
Yeah, and I think, you know, parents are disillusioned by the fact, since you mentioned that, well, if you don't let them drink in high school, when they go to college, they're just going to go crazy. No.
No.
I think, you know, I think that you have to maintain your own set of standards.
Absolutely.
And I think a child learns self-control then, too.
Mhm.
You know, when you have that open discussion, about why you don't want them
Sure.
to do the things you don't want
Right.
them to do,
Mhm.
and they have the freedom to discuss it,
Right.
then you know what? They would learn to value their friendships a little bit differently, because anyone that's pressuring anyone into doing something they really don't want to do isn't
Right.
your friend to
No
begin
way.
with.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's
So-
the kind of message you have to instill in your children.
Absolutely, and by them being in those types of clubs, Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts used to be so big. I don't hear so much about that anymore.
We still have
do it.
Eagle
still
Scouts.
do
Yeah,
it. Good, yeah.
we
Girl
still,
Scouts. That's
yeah,
big,
I think even the Kiwanis Club sponsors a Cub
Troop
Scout.
five,
a
yeah, we
Troop
have one of
five,
the
yeah,
old
there you go,
troops,
one of
yeah.
the Cub Scouts, but my daughter's almost 20 now, so, but I know we went through Girl Scouts
I was a
and brownies
I was a
and
Girl
all
Scout
that.
leader and a Boy Scout
There you
leader.
go.
Girl Scout and
Yeah,
Boy Scout
so
leader
she's
also.
just a sophomore in college now, so I'm still concerned.
Of course you are, because you don't know.
No,
You don't
know.
You
don't know.
Nope, you don't know.
You don't know, but, you know, it's all about communication, I
Yep.
think. You hope.
And what did you
That's
say?
half of it.
You speak to her 2-3 times a day,
Absolutely.
so you know. No,
We communicate a lot.
no, but I'm saying
a
you
direct
have that
line.
communication, and what parents need to realize too is that if you are in high school and you're talking to your child 2-3 times a day, they go off to college and talk to them once a week.
No.
Well, now that's
Yeah.
a conversation you got to start having again. Well, why is the pattern
Right,
changing?
exactly.
And
Right.
Right.
That's
Don't
what you're
wait.
saying.
Absolutely.
Don't
It's always,
wait.
you're
Right.
absolutely right, because there are signs like that all the time that you probably just don't,
When they start
you don't want to
lose
go there.
interest.
Right.
So I can't believe it's an hour already. I want to really
No, no, no.
thank you guys for coming on and
Well, thank you
sharing
for
this.
inviting us.
Because I
Appreciate it.
think that, they'll certainly be handed out at the walk. Again, September 25th, Belmont Lake State Park at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. It will be an awesome afternoon. It'll be a family day, a fun day, and an empowering day. So we look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great week. God bless.
Another dark hotel room, musty piano.